Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome to Massenomics, the world's strongest podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Massenomics. Make sure you go visit Massenomics.com. There you'll find the rest of our powerful content. While you're there, check out our store and buy yourself some of that sweet Massenomics gear.
You normally get from us. Yeah,
I feel like we're doing an interview with someone and not the podcast.
yeah,
right
this
now.
is true.
Like,
Also, yeah,
I'm kind of
because
thrown off.
we
like,
didn't
a bit.
bring.
What do
the
you think,
whole-
Tommy?
The fact that I don't even have a mic in front of me is also like I feel like I'm just sitting and watching. It's
We didn't bring the whole mixing board this year because we figured this is actually does a pretty good job. Hopefully, this turns out, but it's worked before.
Okay, you can't hear me.
Oh yeah. Shit. But yeah, we've done it before. So anyway, we decided it was too much pain in the ass to pack all of the stuff, and so we forgot it, and we figured we'd just do this.
I don't know. I never thought packing all the stuff was that big of a deal.
I was actually fine with it. I just I guess Tyler
however,
makes executive decisions on his own now.
as the one who did all of the packing of all of the stuff, had a bit of a problem with it. Yeah, so
Do you think it's safe for all of us to be sitting this close together on this floor?
no.
So to give you guys an idea of our Airbnb, it's crazy because we got another Airbnb just like we did last year, and we are literally 5 houses down from where we stayed last year.
Yeah, 5 or 6 houses.
So it's like
tops.
we can see. It's like, oh hey, yeah, I remember you house.
Tanner's gonna
and,
get a little angle here. If you need to watch this
like
on YouTube,
this place is decorated nicely. Like check it out. It is
Nice
for
kitchen,
sale. It is
new
for sale if you're
cabinets.
in the market for a house in
new cabinets,
Columbus.
new countertops, like the whole bathroom is all new. Tile,
Yeah, like
beautiful
this is
shower.
this could definitely be on an episode of House Hunters for a couple that's looking for a house. But the floors are really uneven, really rough.
I think they took the idea that it should be rustic and look aged, but like normally people pay good money for stuff to look rustic and aged so that it's not actually dangerous.
Yeah, you could trip on these floors very easily.
Yeah. So what we found is one, there's spots that are many inches higher than others that will just fall in complete. Like where Tanner just sat down, the floorboard went down 3/4 of an inch.
Yeah.
That board.
And if you dumped a bag of marbles, they're all going to end up in one place.
yeah.
Like they're going to roll somewhere together.
So, also one of there was 2 rules. I suppose there's probably other rules. The only 2 I paid attention to was with the Airbnb is don't even think about riding the bike.
Yeah. So they have a bike in the when you walk in the house here. There's a bike.
Is that where people keep their bikes? By the way,
I don't know. I don't know enough about bikes.
I know what
not
I'm
into
not
that culture.
doing is riding my bike on the fucking road with all of the things and
then
water
drive it into
and
your
stuff.
living room.
Maybe like I'm gonna put that where I fucking walk around. And then the other thing was do not play or touch the acoustic guitar. Why it was just left out sitting upright against the wall.
Yeah,
in
the thing you have to
living room.
understand is this is an acoustic guitar shaped like any acoustic guitar you would expect, which
So
means
not-
it's hard, smooth wood.
should be on a fucking
and
stand.
it's like we said about the floor here. It's leaned against the wall on the really weird, uneven floor.
So Tanner, it's only been Tanner, however. Tanner has 2 times got up and walked, but no joke, 15 feet away from it. And
The guitar slams to the floor.
like way worse than it would have been if I would have picked it up and played it.
And so that rule of don't touch the guitar. I mean, technically, yeah, we didn't break the rule of touching the guitar, but
guitar
it is
got touched.
it is slamming itself to the ground repeatedly.
The guitar got touched.
So
by
then,
some
yeah, we had
floor.
to touch it to put it away safely.
So let's recap the day, guys. We got up early. We went in. We did some interviewing and some things. Talked to Stan Efferding today. Yesterday we did all sorts of stuff. We'll get into that later. But what was the big deal today? Like our biggest thing, aside from the colossal clusterfuck of the crowd, which I don't know if you remember, we talked about the Arnold last year. We had, it was about the same time, like around between noon and 2 on that Saturday. If you ever want to go to the Arnold, probably don't. But like, definitely don't go on
Saturday
Saturday.
afternoon.
Like, I don't know.
Saturday afternoon.
Go
especially.
Friday early or Sunday.
Yeah,
And maybe
if,
you're not
if you really wanted to be a go-getter, you could go Saturday morning.
and be done by 11.
Yeah.
But under no circumstances do you need to be there at the time we were there. It was one of those things where it was a point where everybody was trying to just get away from where they were. Like there was thousands and thousands of people like, I need to go this way because back there was awful. And it's like, well, we're going to where you were coming from because back here was awful. And nobody was actually going anywhere. And then we got jammed up. We met with Tom Finn and the guys from JB Boss at the JB Boss booth. And that created a crowd when people are bonging beers, and we got man. I wish I don't remember the guy's name, but the guys that were from Illinois. Yeah. Some Massenomics fans. They brought beer bongs.
So that also it speaks to the crowd that Tom Finn generates, which is pretty awesome. That somehow they managed to get a bunch of beer into the expo center and beer bongs, and people had knives and were like shotgunning beers and bonging beers, and you know, people know his vibe, so they were representing.
We'll get into the other part of this story, but just in general, keep in mind, I did not realize that so many people carried around knives at the Arnold.
Ed Cohn pulled a knife on me 5 seconds after our introduction.
We met him, yeah.
Like he basically was like, "You're pretty big." It was just like, check yourself.
Did he think you were going to eat him or something? Is that?
No, I don't think his head would pass through my
Ed
digestive
Cohn
system.
is surprisingly tall in person.
So this has been the
And before you listen anymore, you should probably go look at the picture of Ed standing between Tanner and Tyler. Yeah. So Tyler is, what are you, 6'6", Tyler?
Yeah.
Tanner, you're 6'3", yeah, right around there. And Ed is probably 5'5".
Probably, maybe. Yeah.
So it looks like we have a picture of him directly between Tanner and Tyler, and it looks like a little child is standing there.
In the near future, we'll have the video of the interview with Ed up, but we did do a hand contest.
Yeah. So with that being said, Ed being a foot shorter than Tyler.
His hands are palms to palm. Like I think I still got him beat, but just barely. Like it's nearly identical.
And I still consider Tyler to have big hands. Like I
have really
you have
big
the
hands.
out of anyone I know, you have the biggest hands.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Hands
down, right?
If you're watching the video,
a little pun
if you're
there.
watching the video on YouTube, this is a full-size beer can, and you basically can't see it behind my hand. You know, I'm holding it. Tanner does have baby hands.
What's the movie with the person like? Scary movie. Like So that's me.
So Ed pulled a knife on me. What else happened? The hand contest. But then now we go knuckles to knuckles, and I think Ed's hand originally had 7 or 8 knuckles.
It looks like it.
It's super weird.
It has
how
like an
big it
extra
is.
knuckle width.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't know why genetically a person. He had a pretty funny line. It was like, I never grew into my hands.
He didn't. Not even close.
See,
Like his arms grew into it. His torso never grew.
Never got caught up. Today at the Arnold though, so we got out of that total. I mean, it was nice to see Tom and then and Steve. He goes by Jackson Homeless
Or Scuba Steve
and Tom Callis, and it was really nice to see all those guys. But there was just too many people, and then we had to get to the strongman deal. And this is the second time in a row where we like actually were allowed to be up there. Surprised, so we were like.
Yeah,
good to go.
We sat in I sat in the front photographer's area again, which
Tom
is great.
had his elbows on the stage.
Yeah, my elbows were on the stage and the center of the stage too, which is pretty awesome. But kind of
underneath Magnus's anus.
Yeah,
when he was touching the deadlift.
Like I mean, he might have been just farting in my face all day, but everyone smelled so bad that I didn't know. But maybe the coolest development this year was that you guys got to join me in the front row. We're now in the same company as Brian Shaw's wife, Half Thor's posse. Actually, we sit farther up than Half Thor's posse.
And also, we were more centered than Brian Shaw's wife.
Yeah.
And pretty much nobody had better seats than us.
Yeah, I mean, Mark Bell was in the area as us for a while.
Away.
Yeah, further away. But, when you're talking about VIPs like this, it's...
We've got, what do they call it, clout? Is that what that is?
My favorite part about being up there is when when Half Thor is lifting. It's just like you're in a Half Thor Bjornsson Instagram video with all of his posse.
You just hear his friends
Yes,
yelling.
Thor.
But now my question too is they don't yell in their voices. They growl.
Yeah,
yell.
yeah.
Like you know the way when you're like in junior high football and your voice first starts to change, and so everybody yells in this way. This totally doesn't make your voice. Well, your voice doesn't carry any further when you just break your voice like rah, rah, and you can't understand any of it, and it actually isn't any louder, and so it just sounds like it hurts. And there's no way he understood the words that they were saying. But anyway, they seem like nice guys, but probably not. They didn't seem like nice guys, but they were really loud and scary. But it was just like his Instagram videos where those guys are yelling. And he was lifting heavy things.
So can we say why we got to be in such a good spot?
Yeah, probably. So, well, I mean, we went through the process of, we applied for credentials and such, but we do happen to have a super fan who's been with us from the very beginning, who's helped us kind of like get to these spots, which is fucking awesome. You know who you are. Thanks, totally.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
We're
when
forever indebted.
When Tommy, so we won't recap the story with last year when it was like, yeah, you're not actually supposed to be here, Tommy. And she was like, but I'll let you up here. And then we had gone through the process this year, and she kind of made it happen for us. But Tommy goes up to get right up to the stage, and we stayed back. We were way back.
Yeah, it was kind of the thing of like, all right, Tommy, go do your thing. And I'm like, oh, okay, here I go. See you guys later behind 1,000 people.
Yeah, and then Tommy texts me, and he's like, hey, yeah, we've got spots for you guys, too. Get up here. And then I look at the mass of flesh between us and there. I was like, I don't know how this is going to happen. And we kind of just, it was like that scene on Wayne's World where they got their little VIP badge. Like, excuse me. And we used the microphones to look official, which is so stupid because we weren't interviewing anybody. Not only that, we weren't going to. So actually what we did is we led with the microphones all the way through the crowd. And then we get up to the front, and I would take them out, unplug them, and put them in the backpack and sit down. But just so you know, this is important.
And the part that I thought was funny too is when you guys were on the way to make room for you guys, people literally had to be like kicked out because like, no, these are for important people. Yeah. And then like I'm sure the other people are like, oh, who's gonna sit here? And then these guys show up. It's like, oh.
My favorite part might be the look of like a combination of anger and disgust and like resentment that I saw generally on people as we were forcing our way past them, and like they just had to eat it.
Yeah, like it's whatever. And well, and actually today there was a couple people who just very quickly, when the bodybuilding thing that was before the strongman got done, they like just rushed up to the front, and I remember.
I don't blame them at all. That is the way to do it. Yeah, as soon as one event is done on that stage,
that's the move.
That's the time when things are moving. That's when you need to get to your spot.
And I just remember saying out loud, I said, you know what though? All the enthusiasm in the world doesn't make that spot theirs, now does it? And sure enough, we got up there and it was ours. So it was great. But no, so we're super, super thankful for how awesome that was. Like literally the best seats in the house, short of being on the stage.
Yeah. And when you're on the stage, I mean, you're kind of in the way. You got to be behind the guys. So,
and I like to think that we deserve it, but I know better. So we're just like trying to not fuck up the opportunity. Like we better get good videos and good pictures, and don't fucking make anybody mad. Like it's like, don't be drunk. You know what I mean? But no, it was it was fucking crazy. But so let's go.
And speaking of good videos and good pictures, I mean, we saw some cool stuff go down.
Yeah. So. By the time you're hearing this, you probably will have heard some of the things, but I don't even know where to start. So, what was yesterday's events? First off,
the bag over bar, which probably isn't a lot.
Not that interesting. Truthfully, they threw the bag over the bar,
and we showed up midway through, and it was. In
my opinion, it's just not a very crowd-friendly event.
Yeah,
it's not a very, very photogenic event.
Yeah, as far as results went, though, Half Thor had 95 pounds.
Half Thor was first, Shaw was second.
And Shaw tried to jump him to 100, couldn't get 100, so Half Thor got first, and was Shaw second? I want to say someone else got second.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't remember.
But anyway,
and then after that,
then after that was the what was after that one?
The Natural Stone.
Yes,
which is a very unique one.
It is a rough field stone, oddly shaped. No real way to grab it. No tacky, no chalk. They could use tacky towels. Was all they could use. And
It weighed 410
or 420 or something like that. So that was pretty fucking obnoxious. And they, right away, I don't even remember who come out, but nobody was doing very well.
No.
Like everybody was having a really, really, really hard time with it. People were getting it up to their, almost to the knees. So a couple people didn't even hardly get it off the ground.
Jerry Pritchett, really big guy, really strong guy, huge deadlift. Kind of suspected maybe that he'd do decent with it, and he really struggled with it. So you're starting to wonder if anyone is going to be able to do anything with it. You know, in the back of your mind, Shaw and Halfthor are going last. So you think like, well, those two are probably going to make it look easy when it gets to them.
Because most of the time in these things, Thor and Shaw come out, and they make they're just so much better than everybody else, But that was not the case really in any of the stuff. So and then I don't remember who. Basically, everybody had a tough time. Dimitar actually did. I mean, he got it almost up to his chest.
As far as the event goes, did you guys talk about the scoring when I walked away quick?
Oh, no, yeah. So
It was a really unique score. Like, I thought it was going to be because you had to shoulder the stone.
gonna be
I thought it was going to
0-1,
be
right?
you shoulder the stone, you get 1 point. But shouldering the stone is such an achievement that they luckily broke it up so that you could get some.
So if you broke it off the ground, if you got quote wind under the stone, that was 1 point. I think if you got it to your lap was 2, up to your belly or chest was 3, and then shoulder was 4.
And shoulder is only one arm holding it, the other hand.
Shoulder was 4, and then 5 was on the shoulder with one arm.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Off. Yep. With
Okay.
only one arm controlling.
See, even I didn't catch all that.
Well, Mark Henry was the one doing the explaining. He did not even understand it.
Of course.
And so he was winging it. That was really cool. We'll talk about that later. But so this thing was immediately it looked really hard, and you're wondering if anyone was going to be able to do much of anything with it. It was just like watching these guys just struggle and fail. Then Mateusz Keselowski, we're just going to make it out. Kielkowski.
From Poland.
Poland, 2 Polish competitors this year.
Who's the other guy?
Another Mateus.
But
or Matthias.
or
depending
Mateus
on what you like
or
to-
Matus,
Yeah.
and Mark Henry pronounced their last names and first names very different. He also called Dimitar
Mateus.
Mateus.
Did you hear? Is
What
that
was
when he
the-
introduced him
there,
today?
Well, there was
Yeah.
many different ones. There was
and-
there was like Demtar, Data.
but
he just made
he just straight up said, and Mateus, and then Dimitar came out, and I thought, God, I must have heard that wrong.
And then he would mispronounce. Anyway, that's the Mark Henry thing. I don't want to talk about it. But Mateus comes out and he just picks it off the ground and laps it. And we're like, everyone's like, what? Wait, what? And then he just stood it up, when you're gonna do a stone load, just stood it up, rolled it right up his chest, regripped right on his shoulder, got situated, took the hand off, and dropped it like a fucking boss. And it took him fucking 15 seconds.
Yeah, it looked like he had been practicing this event forever.
With this specific stone.
Yeah.
And then, God, probably they moved the stone back in, and I was like, oh. And then he goes for it again, and we almost didn't even realize that you could do it more than one time because didn't expect hardly anyone
I
to do it.
assumed when he was going again, I thought they were going to stop him. I didn't know you could go again.
You did it already. I can't pull over anymore. I can't pull over any farther.
I'm already pulled over.
And so he fucking grabs the stone and just rips it up again, drops it, just motherfucks everybody, and it's 10 points on the board, and then the crowd starts going crazy. Picks it up again, gets it to his shoulder, drops it, stone cold, fucking.
The look, and the look on his face, you have to see the look on his face to know, what this.
We'll
felt
have
like.
some pictures and some video and stuff of it. And then he goes for the fourth one, and everyone's on their feet.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was
and this isn't where the announcer says, "All right, come on, everybody, this is a big deal. Everyone on your feet." Everyone is just literally
what in the fuck
"Whoa,
am I
my
seeing?
God!"
Yeah.
Even people that have no idea what they're watching, you could literally just tell this was a crazy
because it's not often where you see the strongest men in the world struggle with something so hard, and then a guy come up that like he's not known as being the top three. Like he definitely has a lot of potential, but I don't think anyone would have just picked this guy to come up and make it look so easy.
And this kid's 25. Yeah. And has a big frame, and he could put some beef on him. But then he goes for the fifth one. Everybody's going nuts. He gets it up to his shoulder, and it was as like lit up as I've ever seen anything at the Arnold. It was crazy. And he slams the stone down. Everybody goes nuts. And I'm pretty sure still, even with some of the things we saw today, I think this is only my third year going to the Arnold, but I think it was by far the most impressive thing I've ever seen at the Arnold. And that doesn't, I mean, that includes people that were stronger than him, beating him at, but he's just that one achievement is crazy.
Those guys on the stage, Mark Henry and Dr. Todd, the old man that puts on is the world's foremost strongman historian. They asked him even where this ranks of things that he's seen, and he said it's easily in the top 5, strongest accomplishments I've ever witnessed.
Yeah. Frankly, if you can do anything 5 times or 4 times as that Brian Shaw can do once, that's not mild.
And that's what really put it into perspective, because the second he did one, I thought, okay, once Thor and Shaw get a hold of this, they're gonna rep this out 10 times.
Point, Mateus is a guy with a big frame and long arms. And it's like, all right, so half Thor and Shaw are going to come out. They're both really good at stones, long arms.
Did anyone else even shoulder it with the arm?
The Russian got it to the shoulder, and Thor got one.
Yeah, so everyone else got one, and it was by no means like a cakewalk. Yeah,
they gave him one. They gave him a 4, and did not give him a 5. And it was I think pretty universally. People were not impressed.
So once the dust settled, everyone was like, whoa, we really did see something crazy, because the guys that we consider to be the favorites absolutely struggled with this.
Totally laid eggs. I mean, compared to what he did, he got 20.
And what really
the second best score was 5.
Yeah, and what really added to the intensity for it for me was directly behind me, I don't know if it was his girlfriend or wife, but was standing and yelling really aggressively in Polish, and it was scary. So that added to it.
The Polish version of "Rip its fucking head off."
I'm assuming that's what she was saying.
I just keep thinking about his facial expression though too. As I don't know, he wasn't trying to do this, but it's just that moment he knew he's the most gangster dude on the planet, and he's yeah.
He looked like a hard motherfucker right there. It was nope, ain't nobody fucking with this. Yeah, that was awesome. That pretty much kind of rounded out yesterday's. Yeah. And I don't remember what we even did. We went to and had a really incredible dining experience where we each got to spend $25 for pizza that took an hour and 45 minutes to show up. I also ordered drinks that then they dropped all of them, and then it took another probably half hour for these drinks to come, but at least they charge us full price.
Another cool thing we got to do on Friday was we were inside the animal cage for quite a while.
Forgot about that.
That really felt like we got into an exclusive club, because the way this started, I think we told you guys on the podcast a few weeks ago that Tanner had been talking to some of the guys at Animal, and they're like, yeah, just come to the cage and we'll get you in. And that just sounds like something you tell people. And we went up there, and I'm like just getting ready to look really dumb when you push yourself in front of people and just watch the whole crowd see just the rejection happen so hard. And we go up there, and I see Tanner say something, and all of a sudden, oh, Massenomics guys, yeah, come right in. And the gate opens, and you go in. It's like, okay, yeah, we just sit here with Brandon Franklin and Pete Rubish and who else was even quads like Rob and that guy that can bench. I don't even know his James Strickland. Yeah. Oh, James Strickland, and then the other guy that was in there benching at the time too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's we're just hanging here with these guys, and they're
nobody's running us out.
Yeah, do interviews, whatever, and people are staying out of our way.
I started to feel bad because we're pretty thick dudes and tall and handsome, and Tommy's hair's in the way. But we have to talk on this one point right here. Okay. You said because we're tall. Yes.
And see, we maybe take it for granted. I'm 6'1" ish. We already covered this. You're 6'3", Tyler's 6'5".
In my opinion,
my brother's 6, or you're 6'6". My brother's 6'5". Most of the people that go to the gym are 6 foot or tall. Like
We're some corn-fed dudes. I
yeah, like
guess.
I just take like to me 6 foot is just normal. Like
I
that's
think
not weird at all.
In my opinion, like Tanner's 6'3", I think that qualifies Tanner as a, like a he's almost a tall guy.
Yeah, like even
almost
even
a
if
tall guy.
if people ask me like who are some of your friends
Like
that are tall,
Tommy's
I don't even
6'1".
know if I would say Tanner's a tall guy. I'd be like, well, my brother's pretty tall, Tyler's pretty tall. I don't know if I really know any other tall people.
Tommy's not short at 6'1", but Tommy's
oh,
not tall.
and I
but you
for the
are
most part
so much taller
when
than
I
all of
yeah
these
around the
people.
people I know, I would never describe myself as tall. And well, like Shane's like 6'3" too. It's just like all these guys.
Other than the people on the strongman stage, I've said it before about like CrossFit people, is that I used to say that CrossFitness is 50% fitness and 50% shortness. I also think that strength is at least 40% shortness.
And that is where our introduction, everyone goes, it starts like this. Oh, you guys are a lot taller than I thought.
Yeah,
That's what Rob literally said. He's like, he kind of like he saw us. Quad's like Rob Philippus, and he saw us, and we've talked back and forth with Rob on the internet before, but we've never met him in person. And he kind of saw us, and he like saw the shirt and stuff, and it like I could tell the gears were turning in his head, but he goes like it clicked. Then he's like, oh, I guess I thought you guys were like one of you was like short. It's like that's what he said. He's like, I guess I thought like you guys were short.
Yeah, when he said that, like I actually laughed.
He kind of went on and he's like, am I getting something wrong? Like, what? Why did I think you guys were short? It was kind of.
And it's just because we're all like somewhat similar in height, And well, then Brandon Franklin does the same thing. He's like, oh yeah, the Massenomics guys, they're trees.
Well, and then poor Brandon, who was probably the shortest one we interviewed in the cage, is right in the middle of us, and he probably had the Ed Cohn thing going on. But we're in there and we're blocking. For a minute, I'm like, geez, all these people outside the cage can't see what's going on in here. Except I got to think about what it was like when we watched things outside the cage, which is that you can't see anything that goes on inside the cage. And also, except for about 45 seconds at a time, there's nothing going on in the cage.
Yeah.
It's the animal warm-up cage.
Yeah, this year they did put a screen up, which means that if you're on that side, you can
see.
watch the screen and stay in the loop on what's going on at least.
So we weren't blocking anybody's view of like somebody warming up with 135. And if that was the thing you needed to see, listen, there's a lot of things going on at the Arnold that are more interesting than that. So we got in there and we basically just interviewed everybody that was in there that we wanted to talk to, and then there's a few others we wanted to talk to, but we just kind of felt like we were starting to be in the way. Just like people were coming in and they're being like hustled out of our camera line to where I'm like, we're not that important, you guys.
Like
you
we
can
were
walk
being
in front of
treated-
the camera.
We were being treated really well, and like they were purposely staying like out of our way, but it felt like at a certain point
it just
we were
felt like it was inconvenient for them.
we better get out of here. But after a while, maybe we'll come back
it
later.
wasn't we didn't feel welcome. It just felt like they're really getting put out.
Yeah.
Like let's get out of here.
But I don't think
tomorrow
any of
we'll
them
probably go
felt like-
back. there.
Yeah, we'll go back in and
We didn't go in
catch
there
a few
today because this day is the worst fucking day at the Arnold for sure.
In all these things, the strongman, the cage, all of that is awesome for us because we've worked ourselves into these great opportunities, and like I'm not bragging about it. I'm almost advising you, like they're really fun for us because we get to be in these prime spots that no one else does. But if we didn't get to,
And I've
it
watched
wouldn't be
it,
all that much fun.
And I've done the Arnold and the cage and the strongman stuff. We've all done it from outside the cage. We've done it from the strongman from not in good seats or from standing. Except for Tommy. Tommy's been front row literally since the beginning.
I'm not going to mess around with that.
but I've done it, and it still is cool, but it is super inconvenient. If I had to describe the Arnold, other than obviously crowded, it would be and smelly, and lots of other things. It is a super inconvenient thing that still is like probably worth it, but it is like, man, everything is like. You wouldn't go to the grocery store when it's like when you know it's going to be busy.
Yeah.
You're going to go to this thing when you know it's going to be the busiest. It's the busiest thing I experience in a year.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm never in this crowded clusterfuck like this because there's nothing I hate more than that.
Yeah. The closest thing I can compare it to is if you go to like big concerts or music festivals, like take that type of just chaos from the number of people and just jam them into like some small hallways and like concourse areas.
And make
then,
them all want to move, but towards a thing with which they don't know.
Yeah. And then mix in just random booths playing insanely loud music.
Yes.
To try and like generate this fake hype for Instagram that no one's actually excited about.
Yeah.
Bang energy.
Bang energy. God. And as much as I like their drinks now, that was so off-putting. But there also is people that must have won or gotten like multiple cases of Bang energy drinks, which is like, man, that's something you want to win at the end of the day. Because I was like, are you gonna carry through this crowd like fucking
a case of
24 cans, 16-ounce cans of pop? Fuck.
Congratulations, you won a brick.
Yeah.
Carry it around.
That's the equivalent of giving somebody a puppy for Christmas. It's like, here you go. Now fucking deal with it. Better take care of it. It's going to be in the way a lot.
Okay, because we're super scatterbrained. Did we talk about the finish of the strongman then? The deadlift? Oh, maybe.
Today's it all.
Oh, we did. Oh, okay. 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 So we still talking about yesterday then?
We're done with yesterday.
Well, I don't know if I'm done with yesterday.
Miss any of the interviews? Just did we at least touch on?
We'll
let's
give
touch
you
on
guys.
them,
Yeah.
So we got to Stan Efferding was great. Who else? Okay, yesterday. What was yesterday? Who do we interview yesterday?
Yesterday was a Friday. Yeah.
We went straight to Kaz. That was actually really good. We got even further in with him. No tall people or anything like that. No Book of Enoch.
Kaz did also tell me some offline things after the interview that it's one of those situations where you wish so bad it was in the interview, but it's just
You
things
know
that, they're
that he
not
just
gonna
doesn't say that on air.
And then we're probably not going to say all the things because we want to be able to talk.
But basically, though, Kaz didn't host this year,
Yeah.
the Strongman deal. And basically,
yeah,
he got replaced.
Gave us some opinions on.
And in a nutshell, him and I forget the British announcer's name. He always announces World's Strongest Man, but he's awesome. And Kaz said, and he's exactly right. Him and those two have great chemistry.
Which we had mentioned that those two should be together.
Yeah, and he agrees, and he thinks like the current formats that they're doing it with basically suck. And he's right.
Yeah. Mark Henry's got to go. You guys, I mean, I just don't know. It's the worst. So anybody, us, we'll do it. I'm gonna lay out Tyler's plan for making it better. One, it doesn't have to be me or Tanner.
I mean, you can just leave us in charge of hiring, and we'll put the event together.
And we'll keep the money and hire ourselves. But what you need to do is you need to get a person up there who knows the stuff. Let's say it's Kaz. Kaz is a little out there, but Kaz isn't just going to talk out his ass, and Kaz will know the rules and all those other things. And then you need a color guy. So if it's the British guy or something else, fucking radio DJ, Tanner, I don't care. But somebody just to be there. Then just because there's
that person also needs to be able to provide like some hype and excitement at the right times
not
and
Mark
the right
Henry
reasons.
walking away while someone's about to deadlift, laughing and being like, "Oh boy, that bar sure looks like it's pretty heavy." Like I know when I look at this, he's just like telling a story while somebody is trying to deadlift 900 pounds.
And when he stalls, he's just saying things that he sees, and he's just
So
pointing.
he literally, okay, guys. At some point today, Mark Henry walked out and goes, "Yellow shirts." We all got on our yellow shirts. Everybody on the stage got on their yellow shirts. We got our yellow shirts on. We're ready to go. Why don't you? Hopefully, these guys are going to get their weights entered in, so that we're going to know what they're going to deadlift, so we can get this thing started. And it's like, well, wait, we know, Mark, that you got on yellow shirts. As a matter of fact, we can see the yellow shirts. But Mark does a lot of that, and it's tough. And I think he's a really good guy, probably. Mm-hmm. And I think he's a really strong guy who has a lot of history in the sport. Mark is not the guy that needs to be doing that job. There's a lot of people who shouldn't do that job. You know what I mean? It's like being president. Like you know what I mean? Like I don't want to be president. I'd be bad at that job. You know, like lots of people would be bad at Mark Henry's job up there. Lots of people would be, but he also is bad at it. So put someone else there. It's just. He's been doing it for a long time, and it's never been good. So who's making this fucking call? But so somebody else needs to do it. And then the other thing is when there is downtime, and there wasn't near as much downtime as there.
Yeah,
this year.
they did. Like last year, we talked quite a bit about how slow they were between events.
Yeah, they got their shit together.
Rogue like stepped their game up and like kept this thing
Obviously,
moving.
directly in response to our feedback. They got it together.
As we're finding out with most things, yep, they are listening. So
You could tell, like watching them, that it was something they talked about, because when they were out there changing around equipment and stuff, they were like hustling and sweating, and like someone was like, "This year is not going to be like last year."
And I think, in my opinion, it's just like if you're wasting one person's time, that's like, whether it's on accident or whatever, like it's just kind of disrespectful, right? Like, listen, Tanner, I'm gonna be 40 minutes late, like, but I'm not gonna tell you. I'm just gonna make you stand there. No, but do that to fucking 30,000 people who are standing up with a bad view, that are hot and in a room full of farts. Like, it's fucking terribly disrespectful, I think, to just dick around and take too long. So they did a really good job this year. And there was a little bit of downtime, little fucking around with like so-and-so's waiting on putting in their weights, which is whatever. In my opinion, you make a hard, fast deadline, or they got to submit them anonymously. Like, there's a fucking line with which you write your goddamn weight, and we don't wait around because Mark Henry's like, boy, these boys are up there making a real chess match.
Chess match.
I used to always wait
All the
around.
chess
I'd want to
matches.
put my stuff in last, so they're gonna wait till the guy before him. And it's like, Mark, that's not endearing us to this fucking process while we're sitting here and nothing's happening, and you're still talking. So during the times with which you have to do that, play fucking music.
yeah,
And then they can chime in every few minutes instead of just feeling like they're filling this awkward silence.
Yeah.
Literally play some music.
and like it doesn't need to be like blasting loud or
just a
anything.
little bit of
Just like
music.
keep something going, keep the vibe up, keep the energy. I mean, every NBA game does it. Like every sporting event does it. Like they don't
The
rely.
Massenomics Strongman Showdown does it.
They don't rely on a commentator to fill 3 hours of airspace.
Fucking, what that is that's crowd work. And Mark Henry is not that guy. And so they just need to get that. And the other thing is then the booths that are near the expo or the expo stage need to not be allowed to have music during that shit, because they are all playing music, but it's like kind of far away, and it's fucking Mark Henry still talking. And then you have like
Jones back then.
that actually was going
Back
on. I
then
don't know
by
if you
Mike
remember
Jones
his-
blaring in the
We
background.
talked about Mike Jones on our walk.
Yeah.
Literally, I don't think we as a
Today
group
we've
has ever
spent a
talked
decent
about
amount of Mike Jones.
We
Yeah.
had like a 15-minute Mike Jones conversation.
So
And
if you
while we're
guys
listening to Mark Henry stall, way back there's all these booths, and like 3 of them are playing music, so it's bouncing off each other and sounds terrible. But then I'm hearing like, back then hoes didn't want me. Now I'm hot.
yeah, Mike Jones, you got it.
Yeah. Now you're hot. Hoes all on you. But and so, but yeah, they gotta have some music just to kill the dead time. I just don't think it's that complicated. It's a simple problem to solve. But all that aside, today's events were the frame carry, but this time it was 200 pounds lighter. It's only 900 pounds only. Still up the same ramp that they've used for 17 years that apparently now falls apart. Right?
At least in the last 2 years of my experience.
Last 2 years, things have broke on it. And then there was no straps this year, I suppose, because Tanner made a good point. He said some people get a little crusty when there's no grip testing. And so that's a good way to test the grip.
If the deadlifts with straps and the frames with straps, then there's really no grip element. So, because the guys that were picking up and not continuing to go on with it, they were failing because it was a grip deficiency, and a lot of hands were ripping open too.
Yeah.
Oh, my hands can't handle 900 pounds.
My gentle, soft, precious hands.
Bunch of lady hands ripping at 900 pounds. But they, so that went. I mean, Jerry Pritchett smashed
killed it.
that event.
Yeah.
Totally
God,
smashed that event.
He
I don't understand why
is-
that was so easy.
Is
for him.
is he like that with any frame carry, or is it like
I've
up
never
up
seen,
a
I didn't
ramp?
see him do that last year.
I don't know. He really crushed it though. That was another one of those moments where you're like, God damn, like that's
What did he, was it 9 seconds or 11?
9.5. Yeah.
9.5 seconds.
And Shaw smashed it too.
The cool part about the frame carry up the ramp is when they get done, when someone crushes it, they get done, set it down, and they like stand up on top of it, and they're always like
yeah,
It's like that on top of the world feeling.
Like
And then when you're right down below them and like you can feel their sweat.
definitely
flying.
cool. It's definitely cooler when you have our seats.
It's that same thing though as like a wrestler on the turnbuckle. You know, it's
Yeah.
you might as well throw them a couple beers while they're up there and let them be stone cold for the moment. Like,
And so Jerry Pritchett smashed that one. Shaw came in about a second behind him. Everybody else had some drops. Thor was maybe third.
Yeah. Thor finished. He was 11 and a half. He dropped it once and was still only a second behind.
And then Mateus Killick, he said Mark Henry can fucking make up names and just mumble. When Mark Henry came out the first time, I'm going to stop beating on Mark Henry here pretty soon. But as soon as Mark Henry came out today, I lean over to Tanner and I go, let's get ready to mumble. Because anytime there's a name he can't figure out, he just mumbles their name. He's like, and we got them Sabatinov. And he pronounced Dimitar Sabatinov,
17 different
Savatnov,
ways.
Savatinov.
I don't. Dimitar is a strong guy.
Damar.
And, like he's probably not like super. Unless you're super into strongman, you probably don't talk about Dimitar a lot. But we have managed to talk about Dimitar quite a few times.
I didn't realize until right now. Like we've talked about Dimitar probably more than any
I
strongman.
fucking really like Dimitar.
I think we need to
more
talk
every
about
year.
him again here too.
More every year. Now,
That was one of my big takeaways from the movie Born Strong is that Dimitar used to have hair. Not
the fact that Dimitar used to have hair was crazy. And long hair.
yeah.
Beautiful hair.
If you don't know, look up Dimitar on Instagram. And
Dimitar
you gotta
Sabatinov.
follow him.
You know, I would actually really like to talk to him. Like, just
I
to,
really
I
would
want to
like
know,
to.
like,
And I kinda
what's
wanna-
got that guy going? Like,
Well, I also want to ask him, like, Dimitar, what do you do in the 5 minutes before you go up to do a lift? Because what happens is Dimitar comes up and Dimitar's not very sweating, and Dimitar sits down in a chair. When Dimitar gets up to go do a lift, however, Dimitar is
river of
purple
sweat.
and is pouring in sweat, and he's twitching and blinking
blinking
and
and-
crazy, and he's just
it's
sweat
not
is
even
flying.
twitching. It's like body waves.
Yeah, like it's whole. He's just like, and it's and I don't know if it's a
someone
height
that was
thing.
maybe just about ready to die.
Yeah,
You know, like that was really, really close to having a heart attack.
yeah, and I don't know if like he has like a secret technique with which he just like ramps his blood pressure up to get ready to
So,
lift.
some Wim Hof secret.
Well, for real though, it's the sweating thing I don't get. Because he doesn't look like that when he comes up. So how does sitting in a chair make you do that? He's good at it. Whatever it is, he's good at it. But Dimitar gets out there. Dimitar actually had a pretty good day. I mean, I think for what like his tool set is, like he did pretty. I thought he did better than I expected. His frame to do on that raw stone.
And based on it, we haven't talked about the deadlift yet, but I'm based on his reaction and what I thought, I'm pretty sure he hit a deadlift PR all time. He deadlifted like 935, and
Yeah.
he was pretty jacked up about that. So I'm guessing that's the best he's ever done on that.
Yeah, his deadlift was on point today. I mean, it really was. And the frame, I think, was just going to be a little much for him. I mean, Dimitar's only, what is he, like 330,
5'8",
but he's
isn't
short.
he, or-
He said like, I think they said he was 6 foot.
Oh, okay.
But
I don't know. Is he 6 foot?
I don't know. It's hard
Look,
to tell up there.
if you go on his Instagram, or a lot of the strongmen, their Instagram, they have a picture like Rogue lined up all the athletes, and of course they put him standing next to Hathor, so he looks really short. But maybe he's around 6 foot. Maybe those other guys are all just that tall.
They are all pretty tall. But yeah, Dimitar is. Oh yeah, Jerry Pritchett's bicep. We did talk about that, didn't we? Yeah. So Dimitar. I don't know. I would like to talk to him. Also, can he still grow hair? And he should.
Not like that looked really good either. But like,
I kind of liked it.
yeah, it's certainly a different look between the two. Like it's
One
pretty
of them looks
drastically
like
different.
one of them looks like he might be like just like a kind of overweight like school teacher.
Yeah, and he was wearing glasses, and when he used to have
Yeah.
hair, he wore glasses too.
But now he
Like
almost
just regular.
Now he
like-
almost looks like when he comes out there, he almost looks like a guy. If I didn't, for some reason, I've grown to like him a lot.
Oh yeah,
But he kind of looks like a guy who would be like a prototypical, like maybe like the second bad guy that you face on a video game. The one that you're gonna beat for sure. It's not gonna be the main boss.
Yeah.
Or like the second or third boss who
Yeah.
you're like, all right, listen, all you got to do is you got to do this,
Yeah.
and then you get past it.
Yeah.
And that's what I envisioned Dimitar as.
Yeah.
And then what was the?
Just hit him in his weak spot and exploit it.
And then the Russian dude, Mikhail. My run and deal with him was that he's from Russia, Shimliak, which is his name is a made up bad guy name for sure.
Yeah.
Mikhail Shimniakov.
Like James Bond bad
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, he's a Bond bad guy.
Yeah.
You know, he Russian, comes out in his black beret. He was a Russian special forces soldier, which is odd that.
But yeah, my comment on that during the thing to Tyler, like Mark or a couple times he'd be like, yeah, and he'd use the opportunity, he'd parlay Shimliakov being in the military to like celebrate our military and stuff, and I'm like, he's Russian.
We're not on the same team.
Like,
are we?
wasn't he part of the team that's trying to actively undermine us?
Wrong side here. Like, we're not like. Am I like? I like Shimliakov. Like, he's
I
cool.
like him
he's
a
good
lot this
but
year,
I'm like,
too.
am I celebrating the fact that he's a Russian special forces soldier? Like that? Like,
Who's on American soil?
Yeah, it's like what, can you imagine if there was like a strongman, like if Brian Shaw used to be a CIA agent and then he went to this competition in Russia and they're like, yeah, he used to be a CIA agent.
let's hear it for the troops. For the Russian special service troops.
Speaking.
Hey, strongman. There's no geopolitical bounds in the world of strongman.
Apparently not.
I literally think that he's like that's not clicking with him. That
No.
it's like that he wasn't in the United States Armed Forces. Like I want to say that. Like, do you know
those
that?
two things are not the same things. We actually were not friends at all for like 30 years.
And
And
now it's
then
even a
now
little
I
bit
think we're getting
questionable.
back to
Yeah.
that. I don't know that. Speaking of ISIS, I'd like to thank our troops. Like, well, let's back it up here.
Like wrong troops. But
Now-
that is a good. But he is a
Great
fun, strong
segue.
man
He,
to watch.
in my opinion, I've seen him the last 2 years or the last 3 years. This is my third year of seeing him. Last year he was hurt. He had a bicep thing, and he came out and tried some things, and he was never able to do anything. But he comes out and he is fucking fun to watch.
Yeah, like he comes like
he
he's
has personality.
Yeah,
Some people get hype. Like Shaw will get excited afterwards, but he's nothing for the crowd before really other than let's go. Half Thor is all hype. But this guy comes out, he's fucking charming. He smiles.
Yeah,
Like,
and he
plays games.
usually before he goes, he likes to kind of wave to get the crowd in, and it's not like "Grr." It's like a hey, come on guys, let's do this. It like almost like gives a little smirk.
Yeah, with the natural stone, he'd get it up on his shoulder, and then he'd use this other arm on his lap,
He'd
and
start
he'd go,
winding up, but he'd do it nice and slow.
Yeah.
He'd do it, and he'd look at the crowd and be like, "Come on, guys."
And everyone's like, yeah, we should be excited about this.
And then but for the deadlift, he come out and had some badass deadlifts. Also, he didn't like the chalkiness of the floor, so he'd come out and he'd fucking
He'd spit on the floor.
white grind his socks into it, and then lift it, and then hit his lifts. And I mean, I didn't think he could deadlift that. He had 2 over 900. Yeah. And
like we're talking like because this is kind of the rising bar thing where it's not like he's going and he waits through a rotation of 10 guys. Like he's deadlifting, and then with the attempts he's calling, he had to. What did he start with? Like 8 something.
I think it was like 850 or
Yeah,
860.
it's like, oh, you did 850. Well, for doing 850, now you get to do 900 in 3 minutes. So then he waits like 3 minutes. It might have been 5, but it wasn't very long. And then it's like, all right, get out there and do 9. And he goes out there and does it. And then was it third attempt now or?
Yeah, his third attempt, and I think the weight was 930 to 950. It was somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact number.
Still not a lot of time between.
No, not much. Especially because maybe we'll talk about this, I suppose. But like Shaw, JF Caron, Hafthor Bjornsson, and Jerry Pritchett, none of them even did their first attempt until like 925
they were
pounds.
all under 900 or over 900.
Yeah, for their first attempt even.
So he goes up though for his third attempt, and his second attempt moved pretty well. So we knew he could take a big jump. He comes out for that third attempt, gets it up, and it starts. Well, no, his second attempt was good, but he got like shaky in the knees, but it still was fast. So you knew he could grind it out, and it still moved quick. So I remember coming out to his third. I go, this one's going to be good to watch. And it was the reason why I recorded, even though I didn't have the good camera or anything, but Tommy was getting pictures. That's the reason I recorded like just the video of everybody's attempt, because I wanted to see like the fucking gnarly grinder of the, like someone just really sticking one out. And he fucking did it, dude. He gets up there and it's 3 inches below the knee. He starts shaking and he's in it. He gets it just above the knee and he starts bleeding out of one nostril, starts bleeding out of the other.
And then it runs
It starts
like a river.
just blowing out his nose, like covering distance.
Yeah.
And just flowing all over his face. Tommy's got pictures of it just over his teeth,
Yeah,
his mouth.
It's the deadlift nosebleed is somewhat rare. You don't see it a lot, but that's probably the most common spot you do see a nosebleed in this stuff. And the volume of blood that was gushing out of this is something really unusual.
A lot of blood. Yeah. And he fucking got it locked out. Basically, the lockout of the day. Like that picture. I mean, that's a great image, him locking that deadlift out.
Yeah.
And then puts it down, immediately says, I'm sorry.
Yeah, like
to
apologizing for the
Magnus.
blood on the platform.
Like says he's sorry, points to the platform, wipes all the fucking blood off, not all of it, just smears the blood off his face onto the back of his hand, and then is just smiling this bloody smile and does his little kind of salute thing, hand to his heart, and bows to the crowd and walks out like a fucking baller.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like every single rep he finishes, or for any event he finishes, he ends it with like his hand over his heart. He bows, and then usually he does like a little salute to almost every direction of the crowd.
Yeah.
And a lot of times he'll even go shake all the refs' hands between attempts.
Yeah.
And even if he doesn't do well on an event, he still like kind of gives his respect the same way.
Yeah. Easily one of my, like, probably the one that I'm going to walk away with after this year being like, that's the guy that covered the most ground in my mind in being one of my new favorites. That guy is fucking awesome to watch.
Yeah.
Like, I'll watch him compete any day for sure. What went on next? So Half Thor come out, they all hit their shit. We get down to the last couple attempts. We kind of got the vibe that, what did Brian Shaw hit?
Thor did like 1011 or 1012 on his second attempt. Looked really easy. When he got done with that, you're like, well, he's going to do a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Then Shaw, on his second attempt, went right after that. He did 1016.
And it did not look
good. It did not look easy. Like, he got it cleanly. I mean, maybe there was a little bit of a hitch.
I think that probably would have passed in a powerlifting meet.
But it was hard. Like, you could see.
It was slow.
Yeah.
It took a lot out of him.
Yeah, so you were wondering, boy, what is he going to try next? Because there's probably not.
Because Half Thor is going to put it to
him. And the world record prior to this was 1,036 or 1,037 from Jerry Pritchett last year. Jerry Pritchett ends up pulling a fairly hard second attempt, and then he said he tore his bicep a little bit on that, and I know he tore his bicep earlier this year, so it's probably the same thing going on. And he went for I think a 1 pound over his last world record and didn't really budge it, I don't think. JF Carone, though, he did 1,021 on his third, and his deadlift is impressive.
It's crazy.
Yeah, like he has the fastest deadlift, at least to the knees, where it just, even with 1,021 pounds, it flew to his knees.
Yeah, that guy in that kind of static strength department is, I mean, he's the real deal.
Yeah. And was that his third?
Yeah, that was his third, so he was done. Then Jerry missed his, so it was just up to Thor and Shaw.
And
Thor had to go first.
We're guessing that Shaw didn't even put in a number at that point.
No, I don't think so.
He was basically just going to defer to Thor, because if Shaw puts in a number that's lower than Thor's number, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And so he can't do, so basically he was stuck. He was either going to have to hit what Thor hit or go up.
Yeah.
And also, these guys are getting into world record territory now, so there is $5,000 on the line on top of this.
So I think basically Shaw just deferred to Thor and was kind of hoped that Thor didn't hit the lift. And I think rightfully so. I think he also knew he didn't have much left, and that he was not going to cough up a bunch of places. So but Thor come out with 1041.
Yes.
Is that what it was? 1041.
Yep, 1041.
And that was not. There was more left in that too. Like he
that was good.
He just lifted it, and there, you could have definitely put more weight on it.
Yeah.
The crowd went fucking
I was gonna say
nuts.
that was another feeling where you kind of got the tingle up your back, like, whoa,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that might have been the second coolest thing I saw here.
Yeah.
And then Brian Shaw came out, and we were all like, "Yeah, it's not gonna happen." And then it starts chanting USA,
And everyone started
USA.
standing up, and it's
then
like,
it gets loud, and you're like, and in my head I was like, he's about to America the fuck out of this
yeah,
thing.
yeah, you did. But right up until that moment, I was like,
nope,
no way,
nope,
no
nope,
way. And then
nope.
all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, maybe he is going.
Maybe
Like,
he
I don't know why
can.
the crowd changed my mind, but I was like, oh,
Maybe
everyone-
they're gonna
yeah,
change his
yeah,
mind
yeah.
because I don't think Brian thought he was gonna hit that.
right.
And nah, he popped it off the ground. That was it.
Yeah, it didn't have a good chance. I
That
don't
lift
think.
didn't have a chance, but it was it was fucking a real good day. I then went and got my beard trimmed.
Well, before that even, I was sitting next to Mrs. Slater. And Tanner, you can probably explain this better than I can.
Steve Slater, I don't know that he works for Rogue. He owns his own shop in Ohio here where they make what is it called? Slater Hardware. There you go. Established in 1946, Lancaster, Ohio. But he makes all of these implements that you see at the Arnold Strongman, especially like he'd be well known for the Austrian oak log and and like
Slater stones,
the frame and the stones. You know, the big world record stone that Shaw lifts every year. They make all of that stuff, and I think he's kind of known for like being the best at that stuff, kind of.
So this guy or his sister was sitting next to me in the photographer's area, and real nice lady. What you could tell was really excited to be there. You could tell she was a fan of the sport of strongman. She knew the guy's name. She was hyped and clapping and cheering for everyone. And after the event got done, she said, "Yeah, it was really fun sitting with you guys." And she goes into her bag and pulls out this little miniature Slater stone, like kind of paperweight type thing, and gave me a Slater's Hardware T-shirt. So that was really awesome.
Yeah, and the stone little thing is cool.
that is pretty cool because it's actually like cast.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because there's still the seams. That is pretty sweet.
yeah.
And then somehow, so at the Arnold guys, there's people that walk around giving out shit all the time. And I got given some beard thing and had a picture taken, and I was like, oh, all right, whatever. Apparently won a thing, and they were like, oh, come pick up your prize. So I go there, and it was, what was it, Maestro's Beard Balm or something like that. Well, they had barbers there who basically the guy there was talking to me about their brand, all this stuff, and it's cool, and you can get their stuff in stores or whatever. So, but he was like, had me do a full beard trim with his barber, who then I find out that my fucking barber has 20,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah, he just goes, "Oh, yeah, he's a YouTube barber," which I didn't know what a YouTube barber meant. Like, are you a YouTube? Just like, what does that mean for sure?
He is David Falla, and he has 20,000 followers on Instagram. Apparently, he did Bradley Martin's beard, fucking Ray Williams' beard. Like, yeah, apparently you can get famous as a barber.
Huh.
Did not know that at all. But anyway, trimmed up my beard. Never had a barber touch my beard ever, so that was interesting. And yeah, that's what that was. And that pretty much kind of rounded out our day. And we
That did.
wandered our way back here. Nice relaxing way to finish by getting your beard touched up. But yeah, and I think that pretty much wraps up day 2. And tomorrow is Sunday, which is a pretty low-key day. It's a pretty short day.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
We might, we'll probably hopefully snag a couple more interviews. There's some guys we'd like to catch, some power lifters and
Yeah.
stuff that we haven't yet, and maybe some of the strongman guys will be around now. They'll be done competing, so I think. Last year we were able to catch Ray Williams and Half Thor on Sunday. Also,
Jerry
you know
Pritchett.
about this, but if you follow the sport, but Ray Williams broke the squat record today too, 1,070. We missed that. It's hard to be in so many places at one time.
Yeah, I get told a lot. It's like, oh, did you see this? You see this?
It's like you have to be there once to understand that, like, you cannot see anything basically.
It took
also
us 30 minutes.
Yeah,
to
a lot
get
of these
to-
places, like from a straight line, like you clear the place out to walk from one to another, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. But under the circumstances you're in, to get from one spot to another can be anywhere between 10 minutes and 45 minutes. You just
and
don't
if
know.
it's 45, it is the worst 45 minutes of your day.
I think by choice, these last 2 years, even we've kind of put our eggs in the pro strongman Arnold basket as far as we make that choice consciously over some other things. And I think that's just as a spectator, it's pretty fun to watch. Whereas some of the other stuff, there's a lot of.
The truth of the matter is, watching someone squat 1,000 pounds, it's awesome. The people get hyped. It's cool. However, from just as a person in a crowd, like the bar has, you know what I mean? Like you're just putting weight. We talk about strongmen like that a lot. We're like, the reason the sport's supposed to be interesting is that it's supposed to be a spectacle.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't like a straight bar from the floor, normal deadlift for our strongman comp. You got to have it look fucking neat. Lift a car.
Yeah.
Lift some tight.
And then just talking about the spectacle of it, like today, I got to think here, but probably the heaviest deadlift I've seen in person is in the 700s, maybe for an actual just deadlift. Today I watched like 10 guys. Like the worst guy I saw deadlift pulled like around 800.
Yeah, like 801 was the first.
And it was just like, get this guy out, get this scrub out of here. Like,
Get out of
and then
here.
like, how many people did we see pull over 900 today?
all of them. Basically, I think anyone that hit,
I think
anyone
there was
that hit
two,
that,
8. So I think there was 8 that probably did over
yeah,
900.
who did? Yeah,
Mateus Kilkowski didn't make 900, and the first guy right away, he went out after one attempt, and I don't know if he hurt himself. So.
And I know it's an elephant bar, but let's just say like with a whippy bar with wide plates, how many people in the world pull over 900?
I mean, there's 2 in this room.
You can decide what to.
Megan doesn't
Megan's
count.
here too.
But like how many guys pull over 900 in the world? Conventional ever? I don't not many. And then how many pull over 1,000 ever?
How many actual 1,000+ pound squats did we see today? Or deadlifts did we see today?
We saw 4 people,
But
do
how
it,
many actual lifts did we see
completed or attempted?
completed?
We saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think 6 completed 1,000-pound deadlifts.
It's fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
and not only that, those 6 happened in a matter of like
Yeah.
15 minutes.
That has to be like a record, right?
I think so.
There's
I
no way
think
that's
so.
been done before.
in one room.
Yeah.
That many.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine it happened.
No, I bet that is a record.
Do we get the Rogue Record Breakers thing for coming up
so
with
where's
that
our
record?
$5,000 check?
Hey, we came up with a record that they broke.
Is that what it? Is
that
that kind of what the thing is here?
But well, hopefully we'll get back to you guys tomorrow. Hopefully we'll get a bunch of stuff and we'll get all that stuff to you as soon as possible. That's gonna have us wrapped up for today. We're over our hour.
Oh my gosh.
We have to go eat.
This is
We haven't eaten since the dopest fucking Polish spot again. Now, my man Ben Skutnik told me there's apparently a spicy chicken place above in that market, and I'm gonna be honest, Ben, I'm going back to the Polish place tomorrow. This shit's too good.
Were you like, yeah, but what about the Polish place?
Yeah. Also today, I forgot to say, Steffi Cohen deadlifted 545 pounds
At
today in the cage.
123 pounds body weight.
that's really impressive. She is for sure one of the women to watch in powerlifting. Yeah. There's not many more people that have that crazy stuff going on than her.
Her sumo deadlift technique is pretty spectacular too.
It is textbook. Like you can't. What do you say better to do about it?
And even at 100% max weight, 545, it really doesn't falter. Like it just gets slower, but she does not like get out of the perfect groove.
Just to wrap up, too, Heather Connor. What do we got here? 314 on the squat,
She's pretty strong.
159 on the bench, 402 on the deadlift, weighing 97 pounds.
97
A
pounds.
558 Wilks.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to quit.
I think other crazy things that happened today that we didn't see, but
4 times body weight. Is that her? Yeah, that's her.
Yeah.
Her deadlift is 4 times her body weight.
And
3 times her body weight in the fucking squat.
yeah,
That's insane.
Dan Green also pulled a 900-pound deadlift, conventional deadlift beltless. Like, what? Like, where's that coming from?
I don't even like that. Yeah. that's just don't let your kids do that. Yeah. So hopefully we'll have some more shit here. We're gonna get a bunch more content tomorrow. That'll have us wrapped up for today. Let's give the whole rundown. So go to Massenomics.com, buy all the shirts, hats, gear. We're wearing the Lift shirt, the Weekend Warrior.
Oh, and also, a lot of people like these shirts.
Yeah, listen, before all these people from the Arnold get one, you need to order one really quickly.
And if you're wondering if people saw us and said, hey, it's the Massenomics guys, they did. That happened.
And you know who you are.
Yeah. Thanks, that one guy.
We did get to take fan photos like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, we
which
did.
is
It's
great.
kind of cool.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
And like just like walking through enormous crowds, just like a random person be like, hey, it's the Massenomics guys. And like we all give them high fives as we walk by.
what's
It's
up?
like, oh, well, that's cool.
Now our dude from, what was it, Illinois, the one who grabbed us by the they're the ones that snuck the bongs in too.
Yeah.
Which was hilarious.
Yeah.
Also, then looked at his Instagram
really
page.
strong.
What the fuck, right?
Yeah.
I don't even remember some of the numbers, but it was like
645 deadlift,
it was like 645 for reps, I think, wasn't it?
Well, I think it was a single.
Was
He
it?
said his PR 451 bench press and a 661 squat.
Yeah, that's some.
And
I'm not gonna say he looked like
Like
that.
he-
was
like
a
he was-
fuck,
he
but
was a
here's the
big-
deal.
he was a big
I
dude.
look like I should do that, and I can't fucking do that. I certainly can't fucking. That's fucking crazy. So
kudos to you. You're probably listening.
yeah, hopefully you're listening. He said, "What did he say?"
He's
one of
like,
your
I'm
30
one of your
list-"
30 listeners.
And I'm like, well, fuck. I mean, I'm not glad to meet you, but I got to look at the metrics and make sure that's not true.
There's like twice that many.
There's at least twice.
Yeah.
I mean, we switched the platform over, so the data's not showing what we thought it showed.
There's
But
a lag in the metrics.
is that our version of there's a glitch in the matrix? Yeah. Okay, so go to the store, scroll to the bottom of the page while you're there. You can sign up for our newsletter. They're going to get all sorts of sweet coupons, promos, heads up for all our sweet sales. Make sure you follow us on Facebook. We don't know why, but just do it. YouTube.com/Massenomics. That's going to be the spot to be for all the videos here. We have lots of really awesome video interviews with lots of really famous people, and you're going to want to check that out. So if you're hearing this now, make sure you go to YouTube.com/Massenomics and click subscribe. You can follow us all on Instagram. I'm Tyler. You can follow me at Tyler F. Stone. That's Tyler EFF Stone. Tommy?
Do you like how we had to skip you, Tanner, because that's not the right order?
The order with which we go. I don't say Tanner next.
You can find, yeah, we're not gonna break. You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
The official Massenomics Instagram account at Massenomics.
Right on. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll talk to you next week, and stay strong.
You just heard the Massenomics podcast. With your ears, you're welcome. Check us out on Facebook, find us on Instagram at Massenomics, and make sure you visit Massenomics.com and buy some of that sweet Massenomics gear. From your friends at Massenomics Studio, home of the world's strongest podcast, stay strong.